Dylan Taylor, and I'm just a singer-songwriter with a bunch of songs, and we're putting them out as we go. For me, music like helped me heal a lot of the stuff that was keeping me stuck, because a lot of the stuff that was keeping me stuck was like hurt. Like, we all have our hurt and everything, but I think a lot of times like we start feeling alone in our hurt, and that's what keeps us stuck, because we're like, no one understands it kind of thing. And that's like tied into the ego that they talk about when you're getting clean as an addict and all that stuff, like overcoming that. It's such a twisted like mind game, because you in your mind are punishing yourself, you know, like because you aren't good enough for the world. And it's like that comes a lot of times from being too empathetic or too caring or too like you're hurt, you know. But then also it's to have the realization that it's egotistical to give in to the idea that you're the only person who's ever felt this way. Like that mind switch, I think, it sounds simple, but I think until you actually like experience it, it's like, whoa, it clicked, like what they were talking about, like, and then you just keep going round and round and round and round and round with that, and it gets like, you know, a little less chaotic. Drinking was my like DOC. I was a heavy drinker, big into downers, and I had like a few different eating disorders. I had a laundry list of stuff, but it was mostly like when I started hearing music that people had written about the feelings I was having, I was like, holy crap, someone felt this so much so that they wrote a whole song about it. And so I'm definitely not alone. There's like music for people like me. That's it, like realizing that you're not alone and not like being upset about that, like not bucking that too much, because I think we like, it's easy to give into punishing ourselves and in turn punishing the world around us, when we could be using that as like a superpower to help other people feel less alone. Because when you flip it, we are capable of some crazy stuff, like all the stuff we did to stay high before. When you channel that energy into other stuff, it's just like mind-blowing what you can accomplish. And I think like I'm at the point in my life now where I don't ever think about drinking, but I still feel myself going into those addict mindsets where it's like, you know, F the world, or I call it the F-its, when you get the F-its. You go into that ego space again, and I think nature and music helps us connect back with everyone else and be here. And it's okay to be here and be different. I think it's a big thing, because a lot of us are like so caught up on being here and being here in an acceptable way. And a lot of us like numb all the things we need to in order to appear in that acceptable way. But it's okay to be different. And I think when we give ourselves permission to do that, we don't have to numb ourselves in all the ways. I think there's probably like some scholars out in the universe who have way better explanations about how it's all tied together, because I know it is, like the vibrations of everything and like how the patterns, how things come to be from nothing, like plants grow from nothing and all that stuff. And then music is vibrations, and it comes from us, and we're nature. So it's all like definitely connected. And music is like one of the purest, like it's coming straight from us, and we're like part of this. But I think on a more personal level, it's definitely like I like being outside. If I get stumped, I like going for a walk. It's not the most environmentally friendly activity, but I love driving, partially because I'm enjoying like all the nature I see along the way, because it's inspiring, like those landscapes. You kind of get to see what other songs were written about. And it's kind of like it kind of like choked up thinking about it, but you know, you're looking at something that someone looked at hundreds of years ago, and so it connects us. I think having like green spaces and green zones, which are also kind of like neutral zones in a way, is kind of nice, where it's like everyone can enjoy this space, and it's like you come here and this is a reminder, you know, that this is one things that we all have in common. We're living in a world where we walk by people in need every single day, and we've been conditioned to not register as an abnormal or unacceptable thing. And in order to survive, it's almost like a privilege to have the resources, the time and energy these days to take time to be considerate and kind and extra sensitive to people who are in need, because if you break too long, you will then be one of the people in need for a lot of people. I think that we got to figure it out, and I think it just starts with like, I can't solve homelessness by myself, as one person, but I can concentrate on like individual revolution and like being better in these moments when it's harder to be better, and not giving into like that F you mentality kind of thing, and trying to be better and kinder anyways. And even saying that feels like a privileged perspective to have, because we're raised up as children to be like, if you see something, say something. If you see people being mistreated, you say something, like be yourself. And then you grow up and it's like, if you're like anything other than like typical whatever, then you have to conform to this in order to get a job, in order to survive and all this stuff. Like, if you spend all your money on the homeless people on the street, you're gonna be a homeless person on the street. Like, I grew up with a bunch of activists in our family to look up to, and it's really easy to get depressed when you're chasing after something like world peace. And I think part of participating and being here and connected to everything is realizing that like there is no perfect solution, there is no world peace, there is no like happy all the time, because we have these highs and lows. And that's not to say that the horrific stuff happening in the world happens for a reason, because I hate that saying. But I do think recognizing that there's only so much you can do, because we're human, certain things are not attainable goals. I think that helps, like, for me personally, I want to make sure I'm contributing positively, and that's something I can definitely do every single day, I think I'm just happen to be someone who's like, go, 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 go. And so I try to channel that into doing something good and contributing positively. Like, it's never going to be anybody's ideal situation, so figure out a way to coexist. And if we're only here for so long, wouldn't you want to try to coexist in a positive way? If you are an oddball, it's important for you to be yourself and exist as an oddball, because especially if you're a good positive force in the world, because every time someone's exposed to you and you're kind, it's going to stretch their potential circle of inclusion in their minds the next time an oddball comes around. It's like in these like really small towns, a lot of people have these fears that we think are irrational and all these things in the big city because we've been exposed to everything. But I feel like it's important to like stay me, because I end up going all over the place for music, and anytime someone is put off or has a preconceived notion about me, I can just be nice and be kind and all that stuff, and then it's like, oh, maybe I was wrong, and if I'm wrong about this, well, how many other things am I wrong about? I just need to go out and see the world for myself, I think just be yourself, make things, because it makes the world a better place. Try not to throw your trash everywhere, and keep the green spaces a neutral zone.